The philosophy of digital minimalism. We live in an era where our attention is the most sought-after currency on the planet. From the moment we wake up to the blue light of a screen, to the seconds before we drift off to sleep scrolling through an infinite feed, we are constantly plugged in. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself if this constant connection is actually connecting you to the things that matter? This is where the philosophy of digital minimalism comes in. It is not about throwing your smartphone into a river or moving to a cabin in the woods to live like a hermit. It is a much more nuanced, sophisticated, and ultimately rewarding approach to technology. It is about moving from a state of being distracted to a state of being intentional. To understand digital minimalism, we first have to understand the environment we are operating in. We are not just using apps, we are interacting with sophisticated algorithms designed by some of the smartest behavioral psychologists and engineers in the world. Their goal is simple: to keep eyes on the screen for as long as possible. They utilize intermittent variable rewards, the same psychological mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive, to keep us pulling down to refresh, waiting for that next dopamine hit of a like, a news alert, or a message. When we use technology mindlessly, we are essentially letting these external forces dictate how we spend our limited time on Earth. Digital minimalism creates a counter-philosophy. It is based on the belief that technology is a tool, and like any tool, it should be used to support your goals and values, not subvert them. A carpenter uses a hammer to build a table. He does not sit around staring at the hammer for 4 hours a day, waiting for it to do something. The minimalist treats their digital devices with the same utility. The core question shifts from, is this app potentially useful? Because almost any app has some potential utility, to, is this the best way to use my time and attention to support the things I deeply value? One of the most profound aspects of this philosophy is the reclamation of solitude. In our modern world, we have effectively banished boredom. If we are standing in line at the grocery store, waiting for a friend at a cafe, or even sitting on the toilet, we immediately pull out our phones. We have lost the ability to just be with our own thoughts. This deprivation of solitude is dangerous because it is in those quiet, bored moments that our brains process emotions, solve complex problems, and generate creative ideas. By constantly stuffing every spare second with digital noise, we are short-circuiting our own mental growth. Digital minimalism encourages us to leave the phone in the pocket and just observe the world, or to sit with our own thoughts, however uncomfortable that might initially feel. Another pillar of this mindset is the distinction between connection and conversation. We have been sold the lie that liking a photo or sending a quick emoji is the same as staying connected. It isn't. These are low-bandwidth interactions that give us the illusion of companionship without the demands of intimacy. A digital minimalist prioritizes high-bandwidth communication, face-to-face conversations, phone calls where you can hear the inflection in a voice, or shared activities. They might use text messaging to arrange a meetup, but they don't use it as a substitute for the relationship itself. By clearing away the clutter of superficial digital interactions, you make space for the deep, messy, wonderful reality of true human connection. Implementing this philosophy requires a period of decluttering, often referred to as a digital declutter. This isn't just a weekend detox where you white-knuckle your way through 2 days without Instagram only to binge on Sunday night. It is a systematic reevaluation. You strip away all optional technologies for a set period, usually 30 days, and reintroduce them only if they pass a strict test. The test asks, does this technology serve something I deeply value? Is this the best way to use technology to serve that value? And how can I use it in a way that maximizes value and minimizes harm? For example, you might realize that you value staying informed about the world. Twitter or X might seem like a way to do that. But upon reflection, you realize that while it keeps you informed, it also makes you anxious, angry, and distracted. A minimalist approach might be to delete the app from your phone and instead subscribe to a high-quality weekly newsletter that summarizes the news. You still serve the value, being informed, but you remove the friction and the algorithm's control over your mood. This lifestyle also champions the idea of high-quality leisure. One of the reasons we doom scroll is that we haven't cultivated better things to do with our free time. When you remove the pacifier of the screen, you leave a vacuum. If you don't fill that vacuum with rewarding activities, learning an instrument, reading complex books, woodworking, hiking, cooking, joining a community group, you will eventually slide back into the screen. Digital minimalism is not just about taking things away. It is about making room for active, demanding, and skillful activities that leave you feeling energized rather than drained. Living as a digital minimalist in a maximalist world is an act of quiet rebellion. You will be the person who doesn't know about the latest viral meme 5 minutes after it happens. You might be the person who is hard to reach via instant message because you have Do Not Disturb on while you work. You might be the person looking out the window on the bus while everyone else is looking down. But in exchange for missing out on the noise, you gain the signal. You regain your autonomy. You realize that your attention is a precious resource, one that should be invested in your life, your craft, and your loved ones, rather than spent making advertising companies richer. Ultimately, digital minimalism is about intention. It is about waking up and deciding how you want to feel and what you want to achieve, rather than letting a notification on a lock screen decide for you. It is a path toward a focused, deliberate, and satisfying life. It's about using technology to build a life you don't need to escape from. If this philosophy of reclaiming your time and attention resonated with you, or if you've ever felt that zombie feeling after scrolling for too long, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below sharing one app you think you could delete today to gain back some peace of mind. Let's start a conversation down there. And if you want to join us on this journey, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are building a community here, and we'd love to have you with us.